When World War II started, Germany planned to occupy the waters in the Atlantic to block shipments and supplies that the Allies needed to get to Europe. The Allies started getting all of their resources from North America. Canada was very involved in the Battle of the Atlantic, and convoys were being launched from ports in Canada. The Royal Canadian Navy implemented their patrol boats, the corvettes. The British government consulted a company titled Smith's Dock Company to develop inexpensive ships that could escort convoys of supplies. The Canadian Navy saw the threat of Germany and started to expand their navy. The corvette became the perfect solution to both of these nations' problems. The Flower class was commissioned, which was an improved version of the original corvettes used as patrol boats. These corvettes got the job done. They were described by Nicolas Monsart as 200 feet long, broad, chunky, and graceless, designed purely for anti-submarine work. Each corvette was equipped with one 100mm gun on the foredeck, one 2-pound pom-pom gun, two Oilerkin 20mm guns, 70 depth charges with 2 launchers, one on each side, and a depth charge rail at the stern, as well as 1 Hedgehog mortar. These ships were definitely equipped to take on the U-boats. The Flower class alone sank 47 German and 4 Italian submarines over the course of World War II. Everyday life on a corvette could be very difficult. In a CBC interview with World War II veteran Frank Curry, he stated that seamen joked that corvettes were so unstable that they would roll in wet grass. But they were Canada's only defense against the massive fleet of German submarines. The boats were in awful condition and were constantly damp. Everything was damp and soggy, including the food and the floor in the living quarters. The toilets were abysmal, with the water from the tanks splashing everywhere and the hammocks that the soldiers slept in constantly rocked. In a documentary about the corvettes, it was stated that every man knew his essential function and went about his job. Each man had a set job to do. Colin Bourne talks about his job on a corvette, saying, "My job was a seagoing officer, looking after the ship's office and so forth." Basically, life on a corvette could be very boring at times until something exciting happened, like a U-boat encounter. There were 123 corvettes that served in the Royal Canadian Navy. Out of these corvettes, 10 were lost. Due to the success of these convoys, millions of tons of supplies got delivered to the Allies. These supplies included, but weren't limited to, aircrafts, tanks, jeeps, locomotives, flat cars, rifles, machine guns, ammunition, fuel, and boots. Without the corvettes on their side, Britain wouldn't have been able to mount their counterattack at D-Day, which eventually led to them and the Allies winning the war. The corvettes were a very valuable part of World War II. We should recognize the veterans that served in the horrible conditions of the corvettes just so that the Allies could win the war. They are important for Canadians to remember because it shows the resilience and sacrifices made by Canada and our Navy to get supplies overseas for the Allies and the winning of the war. We should be proud of Canada's valuable contribution to this war and the resilience that we showed along the way.